So our third race of the day soon to get underway. Second race of the day for cars. And we've got two cuddly pandas and a lot of very brightly coloured cars for the Macau Grand Prix 70th Anniversary Challenge. Now, these are essentially road sports cars, plenty of them, all very bright. You excited?
Well, I'm concerned because my opening line was going to be about the cars and what this is all about. And you started off with cuddly pandas.
Pandas.
I'm going wrong somewhere.
The pandas are here. So opposites attract. It's why we work well together. Thank you very much indeed.
That'll be it.
And yeah, we get some quite interesting camera views as we make our way down the grid, because we are looking at the number 72 car. That is the car on the fourth row of the grid. It's the car of Leung Keng Hei in the Spark Racing Toyota. All of these cars are Toyota GR86s or Subaru BRZs. 33, that's the car of Damon Chan. That car has been going very well and lines up on the second row of the grid on the inside, qualifying in third place. They're very excited about getting this race underway, and with good reason.
And that car is good to have on the grid, because at the end yesterday of qualifying, Chan Chi-ha, or Summer Chan, hit the barrier pretty hard and did a lot of damage to the front of that car. You saw the white sticky tape on it, but it is there, which is good news. That's number 48, a little bit further back on the grid, which is the car of Carlson Tang, another Macau driver.
You just sample the joy in these drivers just being on the grid. They haven't put their helmets on. It's pretty warm, so they'll leave it as late as possible before they get inside the car and bolt themselves into essentially what is going to be an oven for the next laps around the gear circuit. 81, that's Hu Zhou Liang in the Team Pro Spec Subaru. There's only half a dozen Subarus compared to a whole plethora of Toyota GR86s, and we had them here at Macau last weekend, it being the 70th anniversary. Every decade we have a two-weekend celebration, Festival of Motorsport, and we've already seen Toyotas and Subarus battling it out together. They look really good. They look very well suited to the gear circuit last week.
You just saw Lei Kit Meng, number 7, Macau driver, and there is another, Chen Kin San, in number 96. He will line up 7th on the grid, 8th on the grid, number 72 you can see there, which is the car of Leung Keng Hei.
As much fresh air as is possible before you get into the car, and I would guess a few of them taking a bit of water on board as well, because it is warm today. Lu Long In is in the Toyota GR86 in car number 6. Pops in the earplugs, and now is the time to get the helmet on, a wave to the camera, a smile to the camera. That's it, the passion for the drivers, just a little tap to the chest, and this means so much. It's also so respectful, isn't it? I absolutely love it.
Indeed. Carlson Tang you've just seen, ready to get on board, and there is Action Chan. Chan Chun-mun, and he goes under the Western Isles title of Action Chan for justifiable reasons. Number 2, Mo Chi Fai, twice a race winner in the Road Sport Challenge this year. Just to explain that the Macau Road Sport Challenge has gravitated this year to this sort of Group N style Toyota GR86 Subaru BRZ format, drivers pushing forward, as you can see. So many are there that they get seeded into 2 groups, Group A or Group B, and what we had last weekend was the drivers who were 16th and lower, and this race is open to those who were in the top 15 in each of the groups. So the front of the grid, the first 3 drivers, Adrian Cheung, Lo Pak Yu, Damon Chan, those 3 have all had 2 wins in the main championship this year. Therefore, it's a quality, pointy end to the grid.
2:46.182 was the pole position time for Adrian Cheung yesterday, and lines up on pole position. The personnel are now being invited to leave. That includes the cuddly pandas, 2 of which squeeze their way through the gap in the barrier. Let's have a look at the starting grid then. So pole position is Adrian Cheung. The time yesterday, 2:46.182, alongside Lo Pak Yu in car number 99. Second row of the grid, Damon Chan was going very, very well in qualifying yesterday, qualified in 3rd place, and Chan Chi-ha on the outside of the second row of the grid. Third on the grid is the number 81 car. That's the car of Hu Zhou Liang, and alongside Lei Kit Meng, a hugely experienced driver here at Macau. and one that all weekend we've been sort of urging along to go a little bit higher up the order, because maybe not quite at the pointy end for Lei Kit Men in car number 7. Row 4 sees the number 96 car of Jiang Kim Sang, and alongside is the number 72 car of Leung Keng Hai.
So that's the pole position driver. Then the champion of Group A this year with 2 wins. It is Adrian Chung, and the champion of Group B, Lo Pak Yu, lines up alongside him. So this really is a clash of the titans. This is the one they want to win, and then they are together at the front of the grid. Adrian Chung was absolutely mighty in qualifying yesterday. Anything that Lo Pak Yu did, it seemed as though Adrian Chung had an answer, and this is an 8-lap race, and it's going to be really, really good, I think, between those, especially when you throw Damon Chan into the mix. You've also got starting 12th on the grid, Mo Chi Fai, a double race winner in his red car, so he's going to be a man to watch as well.
Once again, a hugely colourful grid for these local drivers and local cars. When we say local, we mean from this region of the world, and they all embrace the very bright and very vibrant colour schemes on the cars. It makes it a great sight when we get the personnel off the grid, are left with just the cars and the one member of the team directly involved in making sure the ar gets started off the line.
The other really cool thing about this is that even though the category, road sport, makes it feel as though it's an amateur category, many of them are amateurs, they're not professional drivers, but there's nothing clubby or amateurish about the presentation, because these are all run by good teams. The colour is there, the presentation of the teams is all there. It's not a sort of ragamuffin club racing series. It is proper, and it's incredibly well presented, and it's a credit to the Macau Road Sport Challenge, just partly how many cars they've got, but also the level at which this series runs.
That's the car of Lo Pak Yu that we're looking at, and you're absolutely right. Yeah, I tick every box from what you just said. It's great to see, and also when you get to see the drivers when the car makes its way down the grid, you see the passion, you see just what this means to be lining up on the starting grid at the Gears circuit here at Macau. An extra thing that makes it so special is we only race on this once a year. It's 4 days for every year that these roads are not roads, they are the Gear race circuit. It's only an exceptional decade treat that we have, that it's opened up for 2 consecutive weekends, and even then last weekend was only Saturday and Sunday, so free practice, qualifying and racing on Saturday and Sunday, all crammed in over weekend 1.
And there is a limit on how much you can run even on those 4 days, partly because of needing a bit of slack in the timetable for stoppages, and partly because of the light. You know, it's sunset about, I think I saw today, 17:26 officially it's declared at. Car with a bonnet up. Now that's not good at this point, because at the 1 minute board you're meant to be off the grid, so the green flag is waved, the formation lap is underway, but if that car does get going with officials trying to get the personnel off the grid, as you can see, then it might well be that that car cops a penalty for not being clear of the mechanics at the 1 minute board. I reckon that's Mo Chi Fai's car, number 2, is it not? So the double winner from 12th on the grid, if he starts at all, looks like it's going to have to be either from the pit lane or the back of the grid, but there might be a penalty coming because of the mechanics still working there after the 1 minute board.
Yeah, you don't want to see a member of the team running off the grid when the rest of the cars are already given the word to leave the grid and go off on the warming up lap. So yeah, that was not good news. The only bit of good news about it, I think the car got going, didn't it?
No, it's still there.
Oh, it's still there.
Still there.
Okay.
And at the moment, you've got the officials opening the gate in the barrier to try and get the car off the track, and it might, as I say, start from the pit lane if it starts at all. So right now, there's going to be a question mark over, I'm pretty sure it is number 2 of Mo Chi Fai. The rest of the cars, though, go down through Lisboa. Not the start of the race, this, of course. It's the last opportunity to get a little bit of warmth into the tyres. Then they'll form back up on the grid, and we will be in business for 8 laps.
I'm trying to think back to yesterday. I think they behaved pretty well during qualifying, didn't they?
Yeah, up until the last 5 minutes. It is Mo Chi Fai's car. The red flag was Summer Chan, as I was saying a few minutes ago, that hit the barrier and caused a red flag, and with it being in the last, I think it was 4 minutes, the last 4 minutes, it wasn't restarted. But again, because these are drivers racing on a budget, you know, they're respectful of not bouncing off the barriers and driving into anybody else. So it's been pretty tidy all weekend.
They want to look after the cars, and the cars are pretty tidy as well. Pretty close to what you would drive if you were driving these cars on the road. There are various features of the car that become evident as the race goes on, that they are close to their road car brothers and sisters. one of which gives us an idea of just how heavy the braking is in so many parts around the gear circuit.
So the field turning up now towards Donna Maria, number 33 there, just exploring where the grip is and flicking the car sideways as he tries to get warmth into the tyres. Damon Chan, he's another driver to watch, twice a winner and the runner-up in Group B this year, runner-up to Lopak Yu.
And yeah, it was a great battle for pole position yesterday. Adrian Chung with pole position time, a 1:46.182, 1:47.184 for Lopak Yu, but he was chasing and chasing. There was a second between the two of them at the end of qualifying. Then Damon Chan, he was always up there at the sharp end as well, 2:47.955, and Chan Chi Ha 2:49.594. So Chan Chi Ha was a little way back, but those top three were pretty close during qualifying yesterday. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's going to be lively, that is for certain. And I think you'll find also there are some good little battles all the way through, because pretty much everybody has somebody to race against here, and these are out of the best of the 30 drivers within the Road Sport Challenge. Mochi Fai's car that stalled on the grid has got going with a little bit of assistance down the pit lane, so it looks like he's going to start from the end of pit lane. So he's going to be really interesting to watch to see what progress can be made from effectively now 26th on the grid, because he's going to join in after everybody else, and he's only got 8 laps in which to get out his elbows.
So the cars weave around on the tight and twisty section of the circuit, then head down towards the final couple of turns, and they will line up for the start of this race. Over 8 laps around the Gears circuit, 6.1 kilometres it is around the streets of Macau. Local time fast approaching midday here in the sunshine at Macau, and midday, so we are about 40 minutes behind in the start of this race. They are very, very quick when we have these little delays to get the next race out, and really good work by all of the officials to get this grid lined up so quickly after the podium was completed for the previous race for the Macau Touring Car Cup. But we do need to claw back a bit of time, because the immovable thing at the end of the day is what David has said. As the sun goes down, and it gets dark very, very quickly from the moment the sun goes down.
And the cars then now head to the grid. The race 8 laps. And there will be that one gap where Mochi Fai no longer is then. So, as we've been saying, you either have a Toyota GR86 or a Subaru BRZ. They're all to the same Group N style specification, so limited modifications. They've all got the safety cages inside, of course. They're proper race cars underneath, but recognisable road sport style cars on the outside. The equivalent course cars, the chase cars, line up at the back, the green flag shown, and then the 5 red lights will go on, ready to get the 70th anniversary Road Sport Challenge race underway. 5 lights go red, and let's see who makes the best start then as the lights change. It is a good getaway by Adrian Chung then from pole position, and he gets the drop on the rest of them as they go down towards Reservoir for the first time. On the inside line is Lopak Yu, on the outside line it is Damon Chan, and then they all take a deep breath and funnel through that fast left of Reservoir and head down towards Mandarin for the first time. But a really impressive start by Adrian Chung, number 11. He leads the way.
It really was. Very good start indeed. Damon Chan having a look for second place, but slotting in behind Lopak Yu as they go through Mandarin. It's such a fast corner, are now on the run down towards Lisboa, but a great start from pole position by Adrian Chung, and that has the advantage. They bustle around in the background for the places. They have a look down the inside and takes the place away, but overcooks it, just gets away with second place. But oh dear, there is a little bit of a schmozzle. That was a very, very good move, but a very last-minute move for the lead of the race.
Lopak Yu and Damon Chan, I think, was the other one that got involved in it. So Lopak Yu went diving up the inside. He was never going to make the corner, and as he tried to recover, glanced off Damon Chan, and Adrian Chung will be laughing in his crash helmet now. There it is, massively late on the brakes. Lopak Yu, he went up the inside. Adrian Chung had to turn out of it. Look, Damon Chan's the innocent party. He turns around the corner and gets clattered into by Lopak Yu. And there, 2 potential winners effectively eliminated early on in the race, and Adrian Chung got away with all of that. I'm not entirely sure that really was on, that move from Lopak Yu, because he was always going to be on a very tight line, and he was having to brake so late. Surely he realised that was a little bit dodgy, to say the least.
A little bit desperate,
Yes.
maybe, on the opening lap. Too far back, just made the corner. That was a surprise to me, because could well have ended up in the barrier on the exit of Lisboa. That's the car of Damon Chan, and that's a shame, because that car was going so well over the course of the 2 days we've had so far. And number 11, Adrian Chung, did everything right, including avoiding the overtaking at Lopak Yu going into Lisboa, because that could have been horrible as well.
Yeah, he had to turn out of the corner, didn't he, to avoid contact. He suddenly saw this yellow missile coming up the inside and thought, I better swerve to avoid that. And then whether he saw what was going on around him, I rather doubt. He's probably a bit focused. It's Summer Chan in second place. It's Lei Kit Meng now in the white car in third. But Adrian Chung has made good his escape, hasn't he? And that is the end of Lopak Yu, the biter bit, really. So he triggered all of that in the 778 Autosport entry by being so brave and late on the brakes. But it has not only ruined his race, it's also sadly and innocently ruined Damon Chan's as well. So Adrian Chung leading Summer Chan, number 25, and then Lei Kit Meng in third place.
Oh dear, oh dear. So the top three, I said they were pretty close in qualifying yesterday, and now we haven't got all of the top three that continue to circulate, because we already have one lap completed now by Adrian Chung. He has been through. The gap back to second place, which is the 25 car of Chan Chi-ha, is a mighty 4.6 seconds at the end of lap number 1 as a result of that Lisboa first lap coming together, and that has rather taken away our battle for the lead of the race, hasn't it?
Has rather, and so now Chan Chi-ha, who's not really been as rapid in the championship this year as has Adrian Chung, upholding honour, but I don't think that Summer Chan is going to be able to really close. So let's look at other battles further back there, second and third. Lei Kit Meng comes up to have a look on the inside. There is a gap, and thought about it and then thought better of it. So Lei Kit Meng shows his nose on the inside line, couldn't find a way by, but he wants to get on with this because he's got Hu Zhou-ling queuing up behind him, and Lu Longyin and Leung Keng-ha as well. So there's a whole battle pack now, second all the way back to 6th place, and of them, Lei Kit Meng looks the man most likely to try to find a place, and he's certainly quicker than Summer Chan, but there's a yellow flag there, so no overtaking, even if there were the width of the room.
He was thinking about it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was thinking about it, and then saw the yellow flag. The 99 car is going to be taken away, Lopak Yu, and really that's the car that triggered everything on lap 1. Lopak Yu's car now is harnessed up from the crane and will be lifted out of the way.
So Lei Kit Meng, what can he do about Summer Chan? Lei Kit Meng has finished 7th in his group in the championship this year. He hasn't had a win, but the Macau driver going for a podium and going for as high up that podium here as he possibly can. Summer Chan hanging on a second then, Lei Kit Meng third, and are these two just edging away slightly from that gaggle behind? Yeah, they are, aren't they? So heading now down towards Police, Lei Kit Meng working out where he's going to be able to squirt up the inside and take second position.
He's right on the tail, heading out of Moorish Corner, then through Donna Maria. A good run through Melco. When the circuit opens up, maybe that's the opportunity. Setting up the overtaking manoeuvre around the long left-hander, Donna Maria. It's tight on the exit. Now the run down the hill towards Melco hairpin, single file, but Lei Kit Meng needs to stay right on the tail of Chan Chi-ha as they make their way around the corner, down through Black Sands, the left-hander at Black Sands, and then on towards Fisherman's Bend. That's when things start to get much quicker as the power goes down. You know, all weekend we've been saying we expected Lei Kit Meng to be nearer the front of the field, and now he is, but not through any predictable reasons. That muddle down at Lisboa on the opening lap has caused Lei Kit Meng to make up places, and now battling for the runner-up spot on the podium down through the final turn up to conclude the lap. That was a good shot as well. You can see him working at the wheel. Drop back a little bit actually as they come up towards the line to complete the lap. This is the run down towards Mandarin.
So that is Summer Chan, number 25, who blasts through the left-hander of Reservoir, still being chased by Lei Kit Meng. You're right, he has dropped back by about 0.8 of a second, and a big spin in the background, and there's one in the wall. Big damage around and around and around and around, and that puts bodywork all over the racetrack. And let's try and work out who that is. That, I think, is Action Chan, who has got it wrong in a big way. Yellow flag at turn 1. I suspect we might end up with a safety car. but there's a lot of damage and there's a lot of debris on the road. Lei Kit Meng sends it up the inside, dive down towards Lisboa, job done. He's finally done it, and Lei Kit Meng goes second, and there's more mayhem, 2 more in the wall.
2 more in the wall at Lisboa. That was, for Lei Kit Meng, absolutely the perfect way to take the place away.
Safety car deployed. 72 in the wall is Leung King Hei. The other one is Ho Zhu Ling. And so Lei Kit Meng did that at just the right time. Not only has he got second, but now a safety car will bring him back onto the tail of the leader, Adrian Chung. And suddenly, we've got wrecked cars littering the first part of the racetrack.
Yes, we have, and that's not good to see. Safety car deployed, but good news for Lei Kit Meng. He did that absolutely, David, at the right time. He's got into second place with a very, very clean manoeuvre. That was perfect. If only
it can be done.
If only we'd have done that on lap 1, eh?
Right, let's first of all have a look at Action Chan. Self-induced. Look, goes sideways, big tack slapper, bang! Headbutts the wall. Round it goes once, bang! Round it goes twice. Round it goes again, bang! That's 3 full spins and at least 4 hits with the guardrail. Lei Kit Meng goes through. Now look in the background, up the inside dives, 72 of Leung King Hei. Absolutely harpoons number 81, Ho Zhu Ling, turns them both towards the tyre barrier.
And what's the worst thing about that? They both come to a stop looking at each other.
Yes.
Just a few feet away.
It wasn't a friendly wave, that is for sure. And the other worst thing about it, Adrian Chung's advantage, that was 8.8 seconds, is about 8 inches now.
Yeah, well, that needed to come down, didn't it? Because it was a mighty gap, and not necessarily through just speed. It was as a result of the skirmish behind on the opening lap. So now Lei Kit Meng is in a really good position in second place.
He is indeed, and he's proved he can overtake and overtake cleanly. Summer Chan third then, and I think this might take a lap or two. Look at the debris all over the road coming out of Reservoir. They can't really use the pit lane because the debris, look, is at pit exit, so they've still got to run through that part of the circuit and just try and steer away from all the wreck. Right, Adrian Chung from Lei Kit Meng from Summer Chan. That is the top 3. And the cars then behind the safety car make that run now down into the right-hander of Fisherman's Bend.
So we have been saying all weekend we expected Lei Kit Meng to be at the front of the field, and now he's going to be battling on the restart for the lead of the race with Adrian Chung. Things have a way of working themselves out, don't they, over the course of the weekend? Not necessarily particularly predictable ways of working it out. Other cars to have a look at as well on the lap before the safety car was deployed. The car in 4th place is the 81 car of Ho Zhu Ling in the Team Prospect Subaru, and that car put in an overall best in the first sector of the lap. And in 7th place, the number 96 car of Chan Kin Sang in the SS Racing Team Subaru. So 2 Subarus putting in overall best laps. It's a shame for 81, Ho Zhu Ling, and
Elevate.
they just make it so quick to get rid of the cars.
Yeah, the time-consuming bit is just sweeping all the bits out of the way, which they can't yet do until all the cars have gone through. But yeah, the wrecked car quickly out of the way there.
Always out of the way, and there are so many cranes on each individual corner around the gear circuit here at Macau. It's the straights where you don't have the crane, and you have to deploy one of the many flatbed recovery vehicles with lifting equipment on board. And the marshals, all of a sudden, as soon as an incident takes place, a dozen, 20, they all go to work. They know what they've got to do. They've got to sweep the circuit. They've got to get it clear, maybe deal with some fluid, which they deal with very quickly to get racing back underway.
It's going to be an interesting grid for tomorrow's race, isn't it now, with quite a number of the original front runners
at the back
in the wars. So down to Lisboa they come. This will give us an indication as to what the clear-up operation has been like down here as well. So Lei Kit Meng really vigorous using the tyres. Another replay, look in the background, you will see Action Chan get all sideways, and a tank slapper becomes a really hard hit into the wall, and then it just goes around like a top, doesn't it? It spins and it spins and it spins. And then here, so late on the brakes, bang! It was never going to stop for the corner. That was Leung King Hei, and the innocent party harpooned Ho Zhu Ling. So those 2 also involved in more of the drama in the 70th anniversary challenge.
Now the interesting thing about that is those 2 cars went sideways into the tyre wall at Lisboa. So therefore, I reckon they can be fairly quick to recover. It's when they go nose in that they need to be pulled back and then up to get them out of the way. But they had side impacts on both of the cars, so that's pretty quick to clear up. We've just got to make sure that we haven't got fluid down for the previous incident.
Luke Hay is under investigation. He was number 72, the black and red car that caused that at Lisboa, and for that somewhat desperate move late on the brakes, so late on the brakes, and taking an innocent car with him, then he is being looked at. So it may well be that there is some sort of penalty for his actions there. We shall see. So the field continues behind the safety car. Lei Kit Meng eager to get on with the job now. When we can go racing and see what he can do about Adrian Chung. He knows he can overtake into Lisboa. It's been really interesting this weekend in other categories where we've got onboard cameras, because the traditional shot of Lisboa is that high camera looking down the straight and following them through the corner. But when you go on board and you see what the driver can see, or not see, more to the point, you don't know where the corner is. You've got this wall of barrier on left and right, and somewhere there is a corner, but yet there's really nothing to tell you where it is. It's almost just like there's a gap in the Armco and you've got to dive into it. It's a little bit wider than that, but you take my point. So yes, we're talking about these incidents at Lisboa and drivers having crashes and being late on the brakes, but part of the reason they're late on the brakes is that the corner is really difficult to find and the reference points aren't easy either. And
really tight on the exit as well. It tightens up. You need to go down there and look down on the tyre barrier to realise just how tight it is on the exit, which is why when we had that incident on the opening lap with Lopak Yu going through, I was astonished that he didn't pick up the tyre barrier on the exit of the manoeuvre. He didn't, but instead collected poor old Damon Chan just behind. So that was an unfortunate incident. All of these incidents have been unfortunate for the Macau Grand Prix 70th anniversary. That's why we've now got the race under control by the Lamborghini safety car. So all cars trying to keep as much heat in the tyres as they possibly can, weaving the cars around from side to side, using as much of the 2 lanes that they've got on this run down towards the completion of another lap behind the safety car. And we will have completed at the end of this lap 4 laps in the book at the end of this one. So a full course yellow. Safety car deployed. Adrian Chung, car number 11, has done everything right so far. Took pole position, was able to avoid the projectile that came down on the inside down at Lisboa when Lopak Yu tried to take the lead of the race away. So did well to do that. Consolidated the gap, the advantage, to something over 8 seconds. Now that gap is negligible, and Lei Kit Meng is going to be wanting to do what we've tried to encourage him to do all over the weekend, to be right at the pointy end.
Well, that's now 4 of the 8 laps done, so admittedly, because these aren't the fastest cars here, they're long laps anyway, so they're not losing that many laps, even if they're at a slow pace while the safety car is out and the recovery team is at work. But the frustration is that we're still behind the safety car, although hopefully, look how quickly they've done that. In the space of a lap, the road is clear at Reservoir. We ought to be able to go back racing this time. We just had another car into the pit lane, which is the recovered 72. So Leung King Hay has got himself away from the Lisboa tyre barrier and has come to the pit lane, and also into the pit lane has come the other car of Hu Zhou Ling. So they can carry on their discussion in the pit lane.
Yes, they can.
I wonder whether it will start with, no, don't worry, it wasn't your fault.
It's fine.
Yes, I suspect not.
No.
I also suspect that we can go back racing this time, because the road should be clear, and so battle between Adrian Chung and the man that started 6th then, and he's now running in 2nd place, Lei Kit Meng.
You say about in terms of time, quite a long lap, around 6.1 kilometres. About 2:50 for the race leader, so that's almost 3 minutes a lap. Behind the safety car, make that 5 minutes. So this is really quite costly as far as the time for the race is concerned. Behind the safety car, they now head up San Francisco Hill, because it's not just necessarily an 8-lap race. It could well run according to time, and just under 16 minutes of this race are now complete. And 4 laps are left in the book under the control of the safety car. Adrian Chung, car number 11, it is that leads. In 2nd place is the car number 7 of Lei Kit Meng, started 6th on the grid, inherited a couple of places after that first lap muddled down at Lisboa. And now Lei Kit Meng is right on the tail. They are behind the safety car, but right on the tail of the race leader, certainly marking down the intent for the restart of this race. Adrian Chung could well be thinking, how did you get here? Might not know necessarily about too much that happened on that opening lap behind him. I want to be told exactly what happened by means of showing the replay. So at the moment, he now knows that Lei Kit Meng, hugely experienced around the gear circuit here at Macau, and successful as well in number 7, is right there behind, ready for the final couple of turns for the safety car. If indeed it's going to go in this lap, I think it will. I think it probably will. I think we should be racing at the end of this. It's Chan Chi-ha in car number 25, a gap between that car and the second place car of Lei Kit Meng. Donna Maria, and then on to Melco Hairpin. Down from the hairpin they thread. Not easy to get any car around the Melco Hairpin. Somewhat easier if they are up at race pace rather than going slowly. So it's careful to trickyly get the car. 30-second penalty for car 72. So that is the car of Leung Keng Hei. 30-second penalty.
Well, it doesn't really matter anyway, does it?
It does not.
30-minute time slot. You were talking about time earlier, so they've got just over 10 minutes, and we're still not ready to go, which surprises me. I thought that the road would be clear by now, but yeah, one more lap behind the safety car, but a quicker lap. So I wonder whether this is going to be at a faster pace, deliberately, so that they can get the tyres warm, ready for the resumption. And then, having had a faster lap, the pressures will be up, the temperatures will be up, and they'll be a bit safer rather than going on the end of that lap from a slower pace. Yeah, that was somewhat shy of a 4-minute lap behind the safety car. Let's see if this one's going to be a quicker one and we get things back underway at the end of this. 3:42 for Adrian Chung behind the safety car, and best lap for the race leader was at 2:50. So losing about a minute to a normal race time, being under the control of safety car. Adrian Chung, it is that leads, car number 11 for Lei Kit Meng. Now I'm quite interested to see about this restart for Lei Kit Meng. He has stayed with Adrian Chung. It's such good news for Lei Kit Meng that he was able to get second place away from Chan Chi-ha just before the safety car was deployed. And now he could do something about taking the lead of the race. Hopefully, as far as Lei Kit Meng is concerned, they're at the bottom of San Francisco Hill. They start the climb. You're quite breathless if you walk up that pace. It's difficult to see the angle of inclination going up San Francisco Hill, but it's quite a hill. So, with the drivers generating warmth into the tyres once more, fingers crossed we're going to go racing this time around. We've got 3 laps or 10 minutes, depending on which comes first. Well, the clock ticking on down, so I think it is going to end up being time, isn't it, that they will face. So the good news is, even if they do lose a lap here, they will, of course, have a race tomorrow. It's not like this is their only activity of the weekend, whereas the drivers that were racing last week, because of the timetable, just 2 days, got practice qualifying on one day and a race on the other. In a number of cases, in fact, people had an accident in free practice, and this wasn't time to rebuild the car, they couldn't race. But here, they will get a race tomorrow. So we'll have 2 laps, 10 minutes. No, it might just about work, mightn't it? They should probably get everything in just before the end here.
So the Lamborghini safety car threads them around the very tight, twisty section of the course, and under the control of safety car. For how many laps have we had? 3 laps behind the safety car. 3 laps left to run, 2 at the end of this one. And the restart is going to be fascinating because Lei Kit Meng, the race he has had, he's looking racy, he's looking pacey. He's just taken 3rd place away, 2nd place away from Chan Chi-ha, who now is down in 3rd place. And the restart is going to be very interesting indeed.
We know that Lei Kit Meng is a good overtaker. He's already proved that. We know also that Adrian Chung is a very, very rapid driver. He has proved that not only in part 1, if you like, of the race, but also in the championship this year. So the drivers then will be back up and running shortly. The clock's now got 9 minutes on it. And even the Melco hairpin, even though it's near the end of the lap, you've still got quite a bit of the racetrack still to go. You've got another sector yet. So there's the Kink at turn 21, Fisherman's at turn 22 at the end of Black Sands, and then Arben turn 23. and only then can you get to the timing line. But they should be able to squeeze the final 2 laps in with the time, looking at the clock and looking at where they are in relation to that around the circuit.
So the Lamborghini heads the field, and I'm just trying to see, what are you doing down there? So it is barrier repair. So it might not be that we get the race back underway. There are plenty of course workers. That's the first shot I think we've had of the reason for the extended safety car period after the cars. It was a heavy hit.
It was, yeah, you're right. Okay, so at best it's going to be a 1-lap shootout, isn't it? Because there are 2 laps to go now as they break the beam. And for Adrian Chung, next time around will either be the last lap under the safety car, or it will be the restart of the race. Number 11 is having a 10-second penalty for a false start, and that is the leader, Adrian Chung.
Wow.
So Adrian Chung is going to fall down the order, because under a safety car like this, of course, there are no gaps. So Lei Kit Meng is going to be the race winner, and we'll see whether we get a racing lap in or not. But right now, big drama. Adrian Chung penalised, and where will 10 seconds drop him to? It's going to drop him to probably last at the moment, because they're all tightly bunched.
Yes, yeah, of course they are. As Lei Kit Meng weaves the car from side to side, we have to ask the question, does he know that? Does he know that there is a 10-second penalty for the race leader, the car in front?
I'd be surprised, but he might do. But right now, I think the drivers are more focused on, can we go racing or not? And no doubt in race control, they'll be looking at this and thinking, OK, we need to make a decision, because it would make sense if they can't restart to just put the checkered flag out this time rather than do yet another lap behind the safety car. But we will see. Speed quickening there from Adrian Chung. If he can get away and open up a few gaps. And there, look, the car in 3rd place of Sama Chan falling back. So that's exactly what's going to help him. Not to win the race, clearly, but to at least get some sort of a margin and get some sort of result out of this. The bigger the gaps, then the greater the spread of those 10 seconds.
I was going to say, it needs a gap of about 10 seconds. That would be nice, wouldn't it, on the restart?
Well, that ain't going to happen, because Lei Kit Meng was going to be with him anyway, ready to strike on that restart. But we're hoping we will get a restart. We've got 6 minutes still to go, and the safety car remaining out. We can't see Reservoir from where we're based on the start and finish line.
The only thing we can see is there were a lot of course workers down there. And it would suggest that it is a fairly extensive barrier repair that's taking place. These barriers are mighty in the absorption. They don't take prisoners, that's for sure, but they do absorb the energy, and that's why we saw the car taking 4 full spins after hitting the barrier, being catapulted across the circuit, and then the energy is just initially absorbed and then works itself out with the spinning of the car. You would feel a bit battered for rather violent spins in a touring car.
Now, watching on the starter's gantry, sort of rather animated discussions about what flags might be needed here. But for the moment, the safety car board remains. I've not seen anybody pick up a green. I've not seen anybody pick up a checker either yet. But we're almost at the end of the lap, and I fear we're not going to get a restart. It might be 1 more lap behind the safety car just to bring them to the end, but that lap will achieve nothing. They could put the checkered flag out now, I suspect, assuming that the track work is still going on down at Reservoir. So, safety car in this lap. Excellent news. We're going to get 1 lap. Hooray, then. So that is good news. The barrier repairs are done, and so Adrian Chung hopefully will know about his 10-second penalty, but he's going to have to push on. So safety car will be in, and we're going to go back racing this time.
The Lamborghini goes to the left-hand side of the circuit, onwards and inwards into pit lane. We're about to get this race back underway. It's going to be for only 1 lap, and the race leader has a 10-second penalty for the start of the race. Adrian Chung gets a good start. Lei Kit Meng in 2nd place. Let's see what happens behind as they go down towards the very, very fast corner at Mandarin on the run down towards Lisboa, and that is, I reckon, going to be the only chance that Lei Kit Meng is going to be able to do something about the race leader. He doesn't need to, but does he know that he doesn't need to?
It's all kicking off for 3rd, isn't it? Sama Chan just ahead of Lu Longyin, and then in 5th place, Chun Kin Sang as they come out of Mandarin down towards Lisboa. Very definitely Adrian Chung is getting away, but it's battle on for 3rd, 4th, 5th. In 6th, the blue car of Carson Tang. And it is going to be Adrian Chung then with an absolute best in the first sector, who stands on the brakes and goes almost too deep into the corner. He scrabbles round Lisboa as Sama Chan turns through in third. It is still therefore Adrian Chung in the lead as toe-to-toe goes Karsten Tang there with Mo Kwok Suna. There's more contact, 2 more cars eliminated. And one in the middle of the road on the last lap. Mo Kwok Hung's car is out of the race. Yellow flags at Lisboa. And all of that is Adrian Chung in the lead. He's going to win on the road. You get a replay of how he just about scrabbled around the corner. But look behind him, side by side, contact between Karsten Tang and 93 there of Mo Kwok Hung that got turned into the barrier. They hit again as a secondary impact, and others have to scrabble around the wreckage.
Oh dear, after the restart as well. So Adrian Chung absolutely throwing the car around on this section. Is he going for 10-second advantage at the end of this lap? Does he know that he's got a 10-second penalty?
Well, he might get fourth, because that sort of track blockage and the delay behind suddenly plays into his hands, at least for some sort of result, not for a win. Lei Kit Meng still going after him, but look at the way that he's fallen back. I mean, it's a big advantage from Adrian Chung, just like we saw at the original start of the race, but it's not 10 seconds to second, and it might drop him to fifth, perhaps, looking at that.
Through Moorish Corner, turns second place, Lei Kit Meng. He's going to be, with the 10-second penalty applied to Adrian Chung, on the top step of the podium. And he goes so well here and is a regular here at Macau, is Lei Kit Meng. Qualified in 6th place as a result of the various incidents on the opening lap, was up into 3rd place, battling away, made a great overtaking manoeuvre as well down into Lisboa to take 2nd place away, just in the nick of time before the safety car came out. An investigation between those 2 cars on the run from Lisboa into San Francisco. I'm sure there will be. I am sure there will be. Adrian Chung has done everything apart from the start in this race, because he hasn't put a wheel wrong during the race. I think the wheel might have been judged to have been wrong at the start, but Adrian Chung comes around the final few bends to take the checkered flag. Checkered flag is shown on the road. Adrian Chung crosses the line first, and the winner is going to be, hang on, let's see if we've got 10 seconds. I don't think we have. We have 5.5 seconds gap back to Lei Kit Meng, who I fancy is going to be taking the top set of the podium.
So, fastest lap of the race on the last lap to Adrian Chung, as he tried to push away, but Lei Kit Meng will inherit the win from Sama Chan and then Liu Yongyin in 3rd place. And 10 seconds, I was right, it's going to put 5th for Adrian Chung. Here's the next battle pack, look, coming towards the line, being headed then as they dive down to our bend by 82, which is the car of Bunker Wong. Through he goes, Wong Kar Hong that goes by in the end 8th, and Rui Valente. Now, we didn't really touch on Rui because he had an awful qualifying, but he started 23rd and finished in 9th place. And bearing in mind that half the race was behind the safety car, that's pretty good going.
That is pretty good going. Opportunistic overtaking, I would imagine.
Yeah, helped also by whatever adjective you want to give to the driving standards ahead of him. And now Adrian Chung sees what's left there, look, of the car of Mo Kwok Hung lying in the middle of the road, but he will circumnavigate that and then be given the bad news that a 10-second penalty is going to drop him down the order. So he's the winner on the road, but on corrected time it will be Lei Kit Meng, Sama Chan and Liu Yongyin, the top 3.
So, drama at Macau.
Absolutely,
Who
as
are
ever.
you?
As ever. And a really interesting grid for tomorrow's race. You take the results of today for the grid, and so many of the quick drivers now out of position. It's going to be really interesting, isn't it, tomorrow when we get to their main race for this 70th anniversary challenge.
Heading on the slowdown lap, the celebration lap, or certainly celebration for Lei Kit Meng. We'll find out when the cars get to Parc Ferme just how much Lei Kit Meng knew, just how much Adrian Chung knew about the 10-second penalty being applied for the start of the race, but they thread their way around the top part of the circuit and will appear down in Parc Ferme. That's the point at which we'll find out how much information they need to be given about exactly what has happened in race control, and the stewards looking into various incidents over the course of that race. The first race of the weekend for the Macau Grand Prix 70th Anniversary Challenge. They race again tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. Again, an 8-lap race in prospect. Let's hope that those cars that have been damaged during the first encounter around the gear circuit. That's the 72 car that we're looking at of Leung Keng Hei.
A second off. So he came in, he had all the tank tape put on the front to repair the car, and then so there was one accident, then he got a penalty, then he rejoined, and something stopped him on the last lap. And Adrian Chung has just been confirmed, by the way, as being in 5th place.
So Lei Kit Meng takes the win. I think he knows, because he's got a little crack in the window that he's waving to the marshals that do the most exceptional job here at Macau to make sure we can go racing over the course of the weekend. It's not an easy job, and they are very, very well trained, very well versed. They know exactly what to do, and they do turn things around as quickly as they possibly can. And yep, on the timing screen, that's confirmation that the number 7 car of Lei Kit Meng from the 3rd row of the grid is the race winner. Chan Chi-ha in 2nd place from the 2nd row of the grid. And number 6 in 3rd place, the car of Lu Long Yin. There are so many investigations. The stewards are going to be busy after this one. The notifications keep coming about investigations, but that's confirmation of the result. A win for number 7 Lei Kit Meng from the number 25 car, and Chan Chi-ha. Lu Long Yin in 3rd place in car number 6, and then 96 in 4th place. That's the car of Chang Kin Sang. And 5th place goes the way of Adrian Chung, having crossed the line first, and then ultimately getting a 10-second penalty for the start of the race. We don't necessarily know what the problem with the start was. It could have been out of position. It could have been going a little bit before the lights went out, and that's just speculation on our part, but for something to do with the start of the race. Unfortunately, it's a very costly one for Adrian Chung, demotes him down to 5th place.
And that's where he will start tomorrow. And so Lei Kit Meng, 6th on the grid, race winner. And a big, big cheer from his team as he arrives then in the scrutineering area. Sama Chan, good result also, bearing in mind that car had to be repaired after that big hit yesterday. And the driver from Macau, Lei Kit Meng, wins the first of the 2 70th anniversary challenge races, and he's absolutely delighted.
He knows. He does know.
Doesn't matter, does it, whether you take the win with the checkered flag or you just inherit it, but he's very, very happy indeed.
He had a great overtaking manoeuvre as well, didn't he? So, rightly so, celebrating. It wasn't without any overtaking at all. Big hug for the car, quite right too. And celebrations taking place down in Park Fairmont now with Chan Chi-ha as well. The Macau officials in the background will be keen to get those drivers over to the podium for the celebration to harness that joy.
And it's a Macau 1-2, isn't it? Both the drivers from Macau. I think not only is Lei Kit Meng our happiest winner thus far, but he's also the noisiest.
And long may it continue. It's good to. We have been saying all through Thursday and Friday we were expecting Lei Kit Meng to be nearer the front end of the field. I'm not sure we predicted quite how that was going to happen, did we? He wants to hug everyone.
I was just thinking that we're never going to get a podium at this rate.
No, there we go.
Who are you? I'll give you a hug. Yes.
Hugs? Yeah, why not? Great scenes. Superb.
Absolutely over the moon about it, isn't he? So Lei Kit Meng, the race winner, in due course might be escorted towards the podium. Might be in the dark, but he might get there when he's finished congratulating himself and hugging everybody that he can find.
He's on cloud 9, isn't he? Absolutely lovely to see. And a hug for the car is not something we see very often, but super scenes down in Park Fairmont. Off comes the harness, the hands device, and the helmets will come off in due course. And then a well-deserved bottle of water.
Which you'll hug. Well done, Lei Kit Meng, then. Very, very happy race winner of the first 70th anniversary challenge for these road sports. And if that's how happy he is now, just wait till he gets on the podium.
Which is coming up very soon indeed. The short walk across the paddock, covering himself in water. Oh, more hugs. There we go.
Looks a bit underwhelmed, doesn't he, that poor mechanic?
Doesn't
anyway,
it? Yeah.
Lei Kit Meng celebrating.
Lovely scenes. Lovely, lovely scenes just outside Park Fairmont in the sunshine here at Macau. It's so infectious, isn't it?
It is. It's so emotional
It's
to
so
have that
infectious.
win. Gosh, right. Head to the podium, please, Lei Kit Meng. Thread through all the people in the paddock. But for a Macau driver to win at this event is really something.
You can see how much it means, can't you? We say it all the time. Huge emotions here. Hugs and tears on the way to the podium, and a great photographic opportunity for... there's always time for a selfie. Always time for an emotional selfie.
So ready for the celebrations to get underway. The trophy girls are there as well, and then the dignitaries will be called forward as well. And the podium is set to get underway then for the
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 70th Macau Grand Prix. Now it's the Macau Grand Prix 70th anniversary.
Attention in the paddock. Attention in the paddock. Macau Gear cars and TCR World Tour event cars. Paddock gate will open in 4.5 minutes. Paddock gate will open in 4.5 minutes.
Now it's the Macau Grand Prix 70th Anniversary Challenge Race 1 Trophy presentation ceremony. First of all, let's welcome the top 3 finishers to the podium. On second runner-up, number 6, Lu Long-in from Hong Kong, China. And the first runner-up, number 25, Chen Chi-ha from Macau, China. For the winner is number 7, Lei Kit Meng from Macau, China. Congratulations. Now I would like to invite the guests to present the laurel and trophy to the winners. Let's welcome Mr. Craig Fullerloff, Chief Financial Officer and Chief Administrative Officer of Win Macau Limited, to present the laurel and trophy to our second runner-up, who is Lu Long-in from Hong Kong, China. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Fullerloff. Now I would like to invite Ms. Linda Chan, President and Vice Chairman of the Board of Win Macau Limited, to present the laurel and trophy to our first runner-up. Congratulations. Thank you, Ms. Chan. Now I would like to Mr. Puan Wan Kun, President of the Sports Bureau and Coordinator of the Macau Grand Prix Organizing Committee, to present the winner's laurel and trophy. The winner is number 7, Lei Kit Meng from Macau, China. Congratulations. Would all the guests please gather at the center and take a photo together, please? Congratulations. And our winners can reach to the top of the podium, take a photo together. 咁多位車手，我哋都可以去到最高一級一齊影張合照喎。多謝。Thank you all the guests. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again to the top 3 winners of the Macau Grand Prix 70th Anniversary Challenge Race 1. Thank you, congratulations again.
So great celebrations down on the podium for our second car race of the day on this 70th Macau Grand Prix weekend, and it is Grand Prix weekend. We should hopefully very soon get the starting grid for the next race of the day, for Lev 1, the gear race of Macau. But let's have a look back at the highlights of our 70th anniversary challenge.